Mel Brown. Welcome to episode 40 of my crafting podcast. This is my fortnightly vlog about knitting, crochet, spinning, weaving, dyeing, anything else that seems like a good idea at the time. I'm an autistic woman living in North Yorkshire in the north of England with my husband, our 3 daughters and 3 cats. You can find me on social media. On Instagram, I'm Mel Brown Crafting Podcast, and also Creative Escape Retreats, which is my business where I teach crafts. And you can find me on Ravelry as Funky40, and we have a group on Ravelry for this podcast. You can go across there and have a look. So, this is episode 40, and I worked out yesterday that episode 50 is going to be very, very close to my 50th birthday, which is very exciting. Anyway, so I'm really giddy today to tell you and show you some really fab stuff. Mentally, I'm not at my best, but I am so excited to tell you and show you. So we're going to get straight in. Let's look at where are they now. So what's happened to the projects that you've seen before? Now, you know the Memories blanket, been ongoing for 400 years and it will probably be for another 400. Haven't touched that. Lula. So this is a crochet pattern which I have been doing for quite some time. Won't tell you much about it because if you've seen it before you'll be going, oh, Lula again. This is how much I've done since I last spoke to you. This is my little, oh lordy, this is my little flip-flop marker that I put on. And I even remember to move it after I spoke to you last. So that's how much I've done. And this is how much there is in total. So it's just a slow onward progress thing. I'm going to right now move the marker so that when I do some more, it'll be since the podcast. I think that's just going to be just a little tiny bit of progress every fortnight until Christmas. So that's my mummy-long. I'm not going to tell you any more about that because you've heard it before. And if you're desperately interested, just go back an episode or 2 and you'll find I talk about it all the time. Right, so that's a work in progress number 2. Now, the shift, which is an Andrea Mowry pattern, I told you last time that I had finished it, but I couldn't show it to you because I'd taken it to the blocking queen, and it is back, and I am so excited to show you this. It is one of the best things I have made in a long time. I'm going to take my glasses off to put it on. Actually, I don't need to put it on straight away, do I? So, it's quite an unusual construction. It's a cowl, but it looks like a shawl, and it's mosaic knitting. So let me show you the front. And the back. So it's mattress stitched together. I don't think I've done it before. If I have done it, it would be a long time ago. So it probably doesn't bear close examination, so I won't make you closely examine it. It's Shapius stone washed. Most of it is, except this dark green, which is the river washed. All the colours and everything are on my project page. I think visually it's absolutely stunning. And shoot, sorry. Do you have as many alarms as I do? That's my alarm to tell me to drink some water before my lunch. I have an alarm to tell me I need to go to the vet, I need to pick up a child from everything. I just get into something, I completely forget what I'm meant to be doing. Oh, and yeah, right, where was I? I'm going to put it on because it's such a cool design. So it just goes on like this, and it looks like a artfully draped shawl, doesn't it? But it's actually just quick as anything, just pop it on. Your yarn or your life. So yeah, there it is. Absolutely beautiful. I really love it, and it's interesting. You know, you just sort of get at the beginning of a project and getting the hang of it, and you think, oh gosh, you know, that isn't my best knitting, that's not my best work. It doesn't matter with this because that's right at the back. The best bit, the bit that you see the most of, is the last stuff you do, and this gorgeous I-cord bind off. There's I-cord edging on it as well, and if you haven't done that or you haven't done mosaic knitting, let me just tell you, it's really simple to pick up. I'm going to start teaching mosaic knitting fairly soon, because it's another one like the mosaic crochet that looks really fab, and it looks tricky, but it's not at all. But yeah, absolutely love this. And because there are floats in the back, I wasn't sure how well it would block, but Andrea, my wonderful blocking queen, blocked it to exactly the measurements that it required in the pattern. No problems at all. And then I just mattress stitched it together. Yeah, did that myself. So, oh, I'm so excited with this. I think it's amazing. And now I've shown it to you, I can wear it. And it is a bit chilly today, so it's wonderful. It's kind of autumnal, and suddenly I can start wearing my cowls and my hand knit socks and all that stuff again. It's very exciting for me. My hair is kind of merging into the background. It's going to be dyed, I think it's this week, Thursday this week. It's going to be mermaid blue, so next time you see me I won't look as pale. So yes, absolutely love it. I'm so happy with it. I would definitely recommend you giving it a go. And there's a bigger one. This is obviously is a cowl, it looks like a shawl, but there's a much bigger one which is actually a shawl, and it's called Night Shift. So it's the same concept, the same easy to pick up, easy to memorize pattern, and the same opportunity to play with colours, but it's much bigger. So Andrea Mowry, brilliant pattern, thank you. So that is finished. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you, I started knitting a pair of fingerless gloves with some beautiful yarn from Claire Nettleship Yarns, leftover sock yarn, and it was fiddly and annoying and I frogged it, but I started the crochet version of it, which was called Octavo, and that's fiddly and annoying, and I'm not going to keep that either. Just to let you know, I haven't frogged it yet because I thought you would quite like to see it, because it's quite impressive looking, isn't it? I mean, the yarn colours are so beautiful, and it's a figure of 8 design. The thing is, let's turn it that way because that's where the thumb hole is. So the thumb hole goes there, and then this kind of, it's just not very big, and from now it's kind of playing around here, and I'm just not enjoying it. It's back loop only stitches, which isn't a huge amount of fun, and it's quite small and fiddly. Obviously it's sock yarn, and I just don't think it's going to fit me, and I don't think it's going to look particularly nice, and I'm not enjoying making it, so it's going to go. It's going to be frogged again, and I'll find another use for this beautiful yarn, but I just thought I'd show it to you before it goes because it is pretty, isn't it? Yeah, it's just like it's got a nose hole there. Anyway, sorry. That's it, it's going. Ribbit. Right, okay. Hermione's Everyday Socks. I was making a pair of socks for hubby for Christmas. Oh my goodness, I have such a big box of stuff to show you, it's quite ridiculous, and I'm not going to be able to find it at the bottom. Oh, there we are. Now, I said I would put them on the sock blockers because they were almost finished last time I saw you. But actually, then I remembered that the sock blockers are no good, and I told you about that too. Because, geez, what? Oh, here it is. Because they're just not big enough. They're not even big enough for my feet, let alone Dave's feet. And these are even bigger than Dave's normal socks because the pattern required slightly more stitches. So, anyway, they're finished. They're blocked. There they are. So it's Grindle Hot Socks is the yarn. I love it. Really, really love it. And then there's that stitch pattern, which is just so easy to do. I didn't use the sock pattern, just the stitch pattern. And I was whittering on last time about how I loved the way that Hermione's went up into the 1x1 twisted rib. So yeah, all done and finished and put away for Christmas. Yeah, really, really happy with those. Just love. I'm gonna have to find a new box to keep all my Christmas presents in because they tend to get a bit out of hand. But so yeah, that's all done. Okay, now I was feeling a little bit grumpy and I decided to cast on some new projects. I wonder if that was last weekend. I think it was. I hid in my room and I just took loads and loads of yarn and a basket full of yarn and patterns and books and ideas, and I cast on 3 new things. So this is New Whips on the Block. Right, the first one I'm going to show you is Bettina. So this is from a book that I got for Christmas. I say got for Christmas. I bought it for myself from somebody. this one. Now I've already made Janelle from this, that you have seen before, and I am going to make Bettina now. So this is, I'll give you a quick flash of it. I showed you last time. I don't think I did. So, oh knickers, that's a picture of the jumper. Obviously I don't want to show you the pattern because it's a paid for pattern, but that's what it's going to look like. So I got started, and I had bought some yarn for it. Again, got it for Christmas, I think. Oh, where is it? I'm in a right mess, aren't I? Let me just find the yarn. Is it here? It's here. In my little moustaches bag. Upside down moustaches on that side. So it's got it from Yarn Etc. Grundle Pacific Lace, and it is a kind of like lace weight. It's 80% acrylic, 10% alpaca, and 10% wool, which is quite an unusual blend, I think. And it suggests a 2.5 to 3 millimeter hook. Actually, that's more like 4-ply sock yarn, isn't it? But it's called lace, which is a bit scary. But anyway, I started it, and I haven't got very far, to be honest, but I'm going to show you what I've got. So that's the yoke. It's top down. There are some bobbles. Let me find you a bobble. There's a bobble there. You see it? Got a textured bobble. So I took it away with me at the weekend. Went away yesterday, or Friday, whatever, and I forgot to take the book. I thought I had the pattern on my phone or something, but I didn't. So it's just a yoke at the moment. Not much to it, but it's yeah, it's really nice. I love the colours, the purple and the grey. It's going to be really, really pretty. I've got 3 balls of this. It seems like 3 balls of this should not be big enough to make a jumper for somebody my size, but we'll see. So yeah, that's just very, very beginnings, but I need to concentrate on that as well. It's sort of counting and all that kind of stuff, so I haven't done an awful lot of that, but it started, and that's whip number 3. Right, okay, number 4. Now I talked a little bit about this and I showed you the pattern. It's Kai May socks by Crochet. Now Crochet, my first ever pair of socks with a pattern was Monkeys, which is a Crochet pattern, and they were lovely. I had no idea back then about tension or even fibre, what fibre was made of, and I bought some 4-ply yarn that was cotton and tencel, and I would never make socks out of those now, but for some reason nobody said that wasn't the right stuff to use, so I made a pair of socks out of them, and they were huge, absolutely massive. They were fine more or less at first. I didn't understand negative ease then either. This was 10 years ago, and so they were fine at first, but they just kind of stretched as cotton often does, and they're huge. So now they're Dave's, and he does wear them occasionally, but they're fitting a bit baggy on him as well. But anyway, it was my first experience of sock patterns, and it was absolutely brilliant, and I'm surprised that it's taken me so long to get around to using it. But I got this book quite a long time ago, and I'd only knitted one pattern from it, but I found Kai May, and I decided that's what my daughter wanted to have for her Christmas socks, and then I hadn't actually realised, and I'm reading it now, Kai May is a physicist, a mother, a feminist, and a runner to boot. These socks combine various elements. Begin with a straightforward ribbed cuff, but introduce a lace pattern at the gusset stitch pickup. It doesn't anywhere say what exactly the lace pattern is, and it wasn't until I did the first motif that I thought, oh my goodness, that's a butterfly, but she doesn't mention that anywhere in the pattern thing, so maybe it isn't a butterfly, it just looks like one to me. Anyway, this pattern is tremendous. I absolutely love it. I got so carried away with it in the car yesterday that I went way longer than I should do, and I had to frog back 1.5 motifs, which was a bit frustrating, but you know, operator error. Oh, here they are. So this is in my Foxy bag from my friend Sarah made for me. And it's in some pink yarn that I dyed myself. It's very subtle. So here's the sock. It's a different construction to what I normally do, and this is another good thing for me to break from my comfort zone and do something different. So it's a top down, and it's got a 3x3 rib, and then obviously it goes straight into the pattern. Obviously I'm not going to tell you about the pattern, but look at that. Isn't that cute? Do you think it's a butterfly? It's really innovative. I've never seen anything, I've never done anything like this before. And you know, lots of elements to it. The actual stitch itself, the way it looks like a butterfly, it uses all these little bits, these tiny bits here. It's just amazing. And then the fact that it actually is making its way across the foot. So it's starting over at the the top of the gusset. I don't know what part of the foot you'd call that, and it's working its way across the toe. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm on the toe decreases now. I did 1.5 too many motifs, so I had to frog that back, and then I started the toe decreases. And there's the back, so you can kind of see how the colours are going. I love it. I'm going to wax lyrical now. You know, we all like, I suppose, a little bit of mindless knitting. And most of us quite like a bit of interest and slightly different row and what do I do next and all that kind of stuff. But this is just the perfect mix between the two. The lace pattern is really weird at first. It's like, have I read that right? And then you do it for the first time and you think, okay. But then you start to memorize it and you start to know what you're doing next. And then I found I was just kind of, I'll just finish that motif and just start the next one. Oh, I love these first two. Oh, I love this row 7. This is row 7 is really weird. So many techniques that I've not really, well, they're not techniques I haven't done before, but combinations. Absolutely brilliant. Nothing tricky and nothing that adventurous beginner wouldn't manage. But just the way it comes together, absolutely wonderful. And I will not be suffering from second sock syndrome, even though I have rarely only done the first time, unusually only done the first one, because I can't wait to get started again. I've had to stop doing this pattern and I want to start again. So I'm just going to rush through these toe decreases and hopefully it'll be the right size. So it's a gusset, a fisherman's rib, heel with picking up stitches and all that kind of stuff that you normally do with top down. I never bother with that. I just do a German short row heel and toe up. So it's good for me. Lots of techniques I haven't done for a while, and yeah, absolutely love it. Can't wait to start the next one. So yeah, that's good. Okay, what else? Yeah, something else. I don't remember how I came across this pattern, but it says Turkish Tunisian crochet. Where did I get that from? Tunisian crochet pattern, and I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to pronounce it tentacle, but I guess it could be tentacle. Anyway, it's Tunisian crochet, and this is another leftovers project. For those of you who watched before, just get a cup of tea and just wait for a second. I'll come back to you. I made a hotel of bees with scapious stonewash. And then I had a little bit left over, and then I got a whole load more in a swap, and I thought I'll make another hotel of bees. I had some left over, so I thought this will be my leftovers project. I'll use up all the stuff. But I ended up getting a gift from somebody at the yarn shop, which is some more of the yellow and cream, and then I bought this green one, so it wasn't really just leftovers, was it? No. But then I finished this, and I've still got a flipping bag full of yarn. So I started another project to use up leftovers, and you're never going to guess what. I'm going to have to buy some more again. But let me just show it to you first, because it is quite impressive. Now the yarn at the beginning, there isn't much contrast because I was just using up the colours that I had. So there's this stripy V-shaped thing, and there's a bit of lace in the middle, and another stripy V, and a bit of lace and a stripy V. And I thought, well, I'll introduce some grey. Let's put some grey in. That was a great idea. The problem was the grey has run out, and as you can see, I am not all the way back. I haven't finished this section. and it will look seriously stupid if I carry on with something else. So I'm going to have to buy another ball of yarn to use this scrap waste, you know, use these ends business. I'm really annoyed with myself, but there you go. So, what do you think? It's quite unusual, isn't it? I'm not really sure what the end product actually looks like, because it's been kind of artfully draped in all the project photos and I can't really see what it's going to look like, but I love it. I really do. It's again quite an innovative design. It's got a technique I've never used before. It's a return pass increase. I don't know if anybody's done that before. In fact, I couldn't even find a YouTube video on it. That's how unusual it is. But worked it out in the end from various notes. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Really enjoying it. And again, I'm kind of memorised it, just waddling along on my own now. Really interesting. I've no idea what it's going to look like when it's finished. How practical it's going to be to wear, but I might even teach it. It's not a beginner's project for sure, because you kind of need to know, with these short rows, you kind of need to know what you're looking at, and need to be relatively familiar with what Unity and crochet looks like. But it's brilliant. I really, really love it, and I've had to stop obviously because I've run out of yarn, and I'm going to Yarn Etc tomorrow, so I'm going to get some more, and then I'll be able to crack on with it again. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Love it. Right. Okay. That is all of the knitting and crochet. Weaving. I had quite a while ago, several months ago, I bought a rectangular loom. So you've seen a lot of the stuff I do on round circular looms. But I actually bought a rectangular loom, and I'd started a project and it sat there for ages and ages. But I'm doing a learn to weave day, a whole day, sort of 6 hours in October, and I'm really excited about it. But what I want is, as well as people having their own circular loom and getting started on a weave and doing all kinds of things, I want them to be able to have a go at rectangular weaving as well, just left and right thing. So I had to clear my weave off the loom, which I did, and my daughter's fallen in love with it. So here it is. My sister-in-law had said it looked quite a bit like a seascape, and interestingly, these were just put on for fun. My daughter had her hair dyed pink recently, and I often have mine purple, so she said, this is me, and this one is her, and she wants it on her wall. So do you recognise this? This is the Tequila Sunrise yarn from the end of the sleeves of Less is More. So I've made that quite textural. That's quite 3D. That quite thick, and then sort of made a sky. So it's all done. It's ready to be hung. I really hate this stuff here. It's the warp thread that came with the loom. I hate it. It's all kind of silky and nylon-y and shiny. You can't do anything with it. There's no friction on it. So I tied the warp ends in a double knot, and it just sprung open. There's no friction on it, nothing to hold. Oh, it's horrible. It took me ages to work out what should I tried crocheting into the top, but it just slips around. So I decided in the end, Amanda and I had a sit-down weaving session, and I decided in the end, oh, that reminds me, I've got to show you my new weave, to just twist them and put them on this. And I've got a bit of blue tack, which is really, really artful, isn't it? I'm going to actually try and push that round to the back, that way better. I'll have the blue tack at the back so it's not so ugly. But yeah, now I've shown that to you, so you can have it on a wall. And yeah, that's all done. So that was just me messing about and having fun. I have another weave to show you, and I've got something else. I just need to go get that. Hang on a second. Okay, so me and Amanda, you probably hear me talk about Amanda quite a bit. She's Mooland Gifts. We work together on some workshops and things. She's done that big piece of art in my kitchen. You probably hear me talk about her a lot. Anyway, we sat down together and did some weaving. Well, she did some thing with fabric and all kinds of stuff. Amazing, but I was just doing some weaving. Finished that off, and I started a new weave. And I selected a load of random materials for it, and it's kind of on a green and yellow theme. So this is where we're at so far. Did you watch last time? I went to Scrap in Leeds, where I'm actually teaching next month, and I bought some fabric, and there's the fabric. And I bought some ribbon, there's the ribbon, and I actually used some macrame cotton for the warp, as you can see in the middle here. So it was something that I'd bought to do macrame with, but it's just too thin for the kind of thing that I want to do. So I thought I was watching a video and it was saying for your warp thread you want something that's not going to stretch, and I thought, oh gosh, yeah, that cotton is not going to stretch, it's really quite firm. So that's there, and then I've got 4 or 5 threads of quite a chunky yarn in there that I've done a sumac with, and then some sumac with fibre. Oh, isn't it lovely, that colour? And then knotted fabric, and then ribbon. I don't know what I'm going to do next. It's just a random thing. I do seem to prefer the things that everything goes all the way around. I have done some where there's just patches of this and another, but it just doesn't seem to fit with my autistic nature. I prefer to have it kind of, even if it's pretty wacky like that, that it's at least going in a circle so that everything goes all the way around. I don't know. So there's that. I will finish that soon. Okay, that's good. There is some exciting news as well. The Shark Attack yarn still has not been claimed, but I have just now asked my husband for another random number, and he's given me the number which relates to the name of somebody who I chat to on Instagram and on YouTube sometimes, so I know she's watching the podcast, so I think we've finally found an owner. Yeah. Okay, should we do that now? Because I'm too excited not to. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce it. Rosalba B. We chat, don't we? You talk to me. You're going to be watching this. This is yours. So, if you can send me an email up here, or a PM on Instagram or whatever, doesn't matter, and just give me your postal address, I will send this off to you. Fabulous. Right, okay, got that done. Now I can be calm again. Okay, well that's unlikely, but right, something new. I went to St Albans for a pub crawl on Saturday. I know it's a bit bizarre because I don't drink, but it was a family thing. So I actually left them all for a bit. Went and found a yarn shop called Fashion and Fabrics, which had some yarn in it. It didn't have a huge amount, it was mostly fabrics, but it was really good, and I got a lot of stuff for weaving. So as I said, I've got this big weaving day coming up, and people are going to have 6 hours. Obviously, we're going to be eating a fair bit of that because there's a 2-course lunch and lots of cakes and lovely teas and things. But we're going to have a chance to do loads and other different things. So I wanted to have a whole variety of lovely things to play with. Oops, that doesn't want to be there. So I got these 3, 1, 2. Oh, the third disappeared. Is it in here? Yes, there it is. I got these fluffy Wendy Fleur de Cays. Now it's cotton, tencel and acrylic. And it's a little bit hairy. Can you see this lovely halo? So I got that in 3 different colours because I thought that would be really nice to be plied with something else, or double plied, triple plied with itself, or all 3 of them plied together, or whatever, but to give a little hairiness to a weave. What do you think? And I also got this because it's just so pretty. It's like the King Cole Galaxy. Oh, do you know what? That's in the weave, isn't it? Where did I put the flipping weave? Oh no, I've got so much stuff there. At the top of the weave, there's that King Cole Galaxy. It's got the what are they called? Sequins in. It's like that, but it's also quite hairy, and it's also got kind of silver threads. It's really interesting. So yeah, got some of that as well. And then this is the star of the show. Couldn't believe this when I found it. This is called Wendy Attitude. Look at that. Look how thick it is. It's kind of, I don't know, I haven't really had a chance to look at it. It looks like a kind of broad I-cord. Can you see? It's not flat, it's like a tube. Actually, if I could find the end, I could see what it looks like. Oh, these are the knot in the middle of it, that's not ideal. So that's what it looks like at the end of a piece. Anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's so soft. It's 100 grams, and it'll be acrylic. They suggest Oh, it's got some nylon, acrylic and nylon. It suggested 12mm needles. And of course you're thinking, well, you wouldn't get much out of that, would you? But when you're weaving, you would. So this one, weirdly, they're all different prices. Some are £3.65. And I think that's going to look amazing in a weave. But of course I didn't stop there, because there was also this one. I don't know how long that repeat is, how long it stays one colour that is before it changes. And this one, which is my favourite, it's the one I saw first. So I thought these would look really great in a weave. And it's just other options for people to play with. I'm going to have baskets full of stuff and just keep moving one away and bringing a new one in with loads of things to play with. So it's going to be really good fun. So yeah, really, really happy with that. Thank you to the ladies at Fashion and Fabrics. Right. Sorry, quick break for lunch and an autistic meltdown. But we're sorted now. So we were looking at something new. So also while we're in St Albans, there was a market on, and we came across this lady, and she was selling silk yarn. So I had a look at it. This is hand dyed silk yarn. The colourway is Night Skies, and I absolutely loved it, and I was really, really surprised at the price. Now tell me, give me a comment, tell me what you think of this. It's 100 grams of 100% silk, hand dyed, and it's worsted weight, although to be honest it's 207 meters, which sounds just more like DK to me, but anyway, it's somewhere around that. 100 grams, and it was £15. I thought for hand dyed 100% silk yarn that was really underpriced, and I said so to her, and she said, oh well, people won't pay more. This was down in St Albans. So I had an interesting conversation online with somebody this week on Facebook about, there's a St Albans in Vermont apparently, in the USA. Oh, so there's a St Albans in Vermont in the USA apparently, I found out. But this is St Albans in Hertfordshire, just north of London. And I thought that that was really underpriced. So tell me what you think. We went and had a coffee brunch, and then we came back and I bought some more. So I've got 2 skeins. So what can I do with it? So it's about 400 meters. What would you do? I had a quick look online, couldn't really find anything on Ravelry. Andrea, you're really good at finding patterns. What do you think? What could I do with it? I want to have it around my neck because it's just so soft. It's gorgeous. But yeah, nothing really sprung to mind. Okay, so that's something new. Also, I've been talking about doing a project diary. Now, this is a different kind of video. So instead of just me sitting down and telling you what I'm doing, it's you getting to see a sort of diary of a project involving more than one craft. And the first one I did is the sleeves for the Less is More. So my big hand spun cardigan, I'd done the body and I wanted to spin the yarn and dye the yarn for the sleeves. So I have uploaded that this morning and it's ready to roll. It's taken a long time to put it together because I actually started it ages and ages ago, so there's quite a lot in there, and it's interesting if you're ever mad enough to watch me and think, oh, Mel's very accomplished, she's got it together. Yeah, no. It's a really, really good video because you get to see me making a mess of things, me doing things not working out as I expected, and it's really good. So have a look at it. It's nearly an hour long, so you might want to get yourself a cup of tea. Maybe watch it next week when there isn't a podcast or something. But anyway, so that first one is up, and I will put a link to it in case you haven't found it. I've started a new playlist called Project Diaries, and it's in that. In case you haven't seen it, then I will put a link to it in the show notes. I didn't say the show notes are over on Ravelry, so there's a link down here. It says show notes. Click on that. I'll take you over to Ravelry, and you can then see all the show notes, clickable links to the patterns and the people and whatever. So I'll put a link into the Project Diary video as well. So have a look at that and tell me what you think. Let me think. I think that is more or less everything I was going to say about that. Plans. Stephen West is doing a mystery knit along. Now, I didn't know he'd been designing for this long, but this is his 10th annual mystery crochet knit along. So I was quite surprised at that. I just kind of thought he was a bit newer than that. But anyway, so it's called Starflake, not snowflake, starflake, yeah. And it calls for 2 colours of fingering weight yarn, 2 skeins each of them, so about 800 meters, I guess. Well, actually his are a bit less, like 730 or something, but so that's what it needs, and I don't have that at all. I've got odd skeins that look nice together, but I don't have 2 skeins of any one colour, so I need to put those on my shopping list for Yarndale. But is anybody else doing that? My American friends Kathy and Adriana are doing it with me. Anybody else want to do it? Oh, well, obviously it's not a Mel Brown podcast craft along, but if you are going to do it, then put a comment down below or in the Ravelry thread, and let's have a chat about it and have our little mini knit along within the knit along. Yeah, kind of knit along inception. Okay, that's cool. And Yarndale, yeah, it's the highlight of my crafting year, really. It's a 2-day festival in a cattle market in Skipton, North Yorkshire. The one problem this year is that they're doing some blooming cycle race, which is going to cause road shutdowns all over the place. The whole of Harrogate is shutting down for a week. It's a mess. It really is. There are businesses that are having to close for several days. It's a real mess. But the worst thing is, for me, it's going to make it difficult for me to get to Yarndale, but I'm planning to go on the Sunday. And I need to get this yarn for the Stephen West. I also have got a project I want to do for my daughter, and she wants some dark red fingering weight yarn for that, and I haven't seen that anywhere. I'm going to Yarn Etc. Excuse me. I'm going to Yarn Etc. tomorrow, so I'll see if they've got any. But it's quite an unusual thing, a dark red. Anyway, I'll have a look for that, and then I just need to find another few bits and pieces that I want to shop for, because I kind of want now to have something. When I buy new yarn, I want to have something a plan for it, like I did with this. Okay, right. Okay, so I think I haven't done any spinning and I haven't done any dyeing. I think that's more or less it. I bought a couple of buttons for this. It's driving me bonkers falling off my shoulder, so I bought a couple of really big black chunky buttons, and I'm going to sew them on up here. God, I'm trying to remember what we agreed. I sat down with Andrew and we talked it through. Up here and here, just to hold it there. And then Andrew has sewn on for me that beautiful clasp onto my less is more. Oh, and do you know what else I bought? I bought some ribbon. Oh, goodness me, where is it? I bought some ribbon. There it is. Ribbon. When the cardigan comes down here, the ends are rolling a bit, and Andrea suggested I get some ribbon and she'll sew it on for me inside. So I got this. So that's going to be sewn down the inside, and she's put on that beautiful little clasp that I bought. She's sewn that on, and then I'm going to give her this tomorrow and she's going to sew that on. Poor woman, she does do a lot for me. She is lovely, but don't tell her. Shh. I bought her one of these to say thank you. I'll give that to her tomorrow as well. So not that colour though. So yeah, that's good. So still really finishing off those cardies. Right, okay. A little bit of personal stuff then. So if you're just here for the knitting and crochet and stuff, thank you for watching. It's been great. I will be less obsessed with my hair next time. See you in a couple of weeks. So back to school last week, and it went really well in many ways. Some slight challenges, but really well. But little one Annie, the autistic daughter, is not back in school today. We had a very sociable weekend, and I don't think she's very good at knowing when she's had enough. I'm the same. I'm definitely getting better, but so she stayed out all day at this pub crawl, and then that night she had a meltdown and it was pretty bad, and then another one yesterday, and then she hasn't gone into school today because she feels like so much pressure in her head, and that's overload. So she stayed home today, and we've had another argument today, which led to another meltdown, and it's not been great. But we are definitely making moves, and I found out something over the weekend that might be huge for me. It's a autistic complication that might have led to all the symptoms that I thought were menopause, and might have led to what contributed to me giving up my second career. And it's autistic burnout, and I'm really investigating it a bit further. But I don't want to talk too much about this because this isn't really an autism podcast, but anyway, there's that. And yeah, it's very, very busy and very intense here, but it's all positive. It's kind of going in a positive direction. Okay, that's probably it for now. The house is a bit full, so I'm going to have to wind this up now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, do please click thumbs up and put me a comment down below, anything you fancy. Rosalba, please get in touch. Can't wait to send that beautiful shark attack to you. And have a look at the project diary, see what you think of that. Go across to Ravelry, pop on a comment, let me know what your plans are. If you're doing a mystery crochet along, if you're doing a knit along, anything like that, just let me know, just chat to me about it. It's fun. Okay, have fun, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Happy crafting. Bye.